2 days ago, everything I thought I knew about my life unraveled. For 4 years, I was in what I believed to be a loving relationship with my boyfriend. We planned our future together, discussing marriage, kids, and even looking at engagement rings. But it was all a lie. My boyfriend was gay, and he admitted he had used me as a shield to hide his sexuality because he wasn't ready to come out. When he finally told me, he didn't sugarcoat it. He openly confessed that he never loved me the way I thought he did. For years of memories, every romantic gesture, every intimate moment, were part of a facade. He wasn't just my boyfriend, he was my best friend, the person I trusted most. And yet, the entire relationship was built on deception. But the humiliation didn't stop there. Just 2 hours after I walked in on him and his secret boyfriend, the boyfriend called me. Yes, called me. He suggested that because my ex was bi, the three of us could be together as some kind of makeshift family. At first, I thought he was mocking me. But the more he talked, the clearer it became that he might actually be serious. It was sickening. As if the betrayal and the absurdity of that phone call weren't enough, my family's reaction left me stunned. Instead of offering support, they urged me to be more understanding. Gay people have it rough enough already, they said, as though his sexual orientation somehow erased the pain he'd caused me. My feelings were invalidated because I was supposed to feel sorry for him. In a moment of rage, I texted my ex to ask if he had put his boyfriend up to calling me. His response? It wouldn't be a bad idea. That was it for me. I lost it. His mom and I had always been close, so I reached out to her and laid everything bare. The lies, the affair, and the call. I told her I needed space and couldn't keep in touch with her, at least for now. She was shocked but understood my decision. However, what followed was an avalanche of consequences that neither of us could have predicted. After telling his mom everything, I thought I'd finally have some peace. But instead, things spiraled out of control. His parents were horrified, not because he was gay, but because of how he'd treated me. They disowned him. They couldn't accept that he'd manipulated me for years, cheated on me, and then allowed his boyfriend to humiliate me further. What my ex did next made everything worse. He went on social media, claiming his parents had disowned him for being gay. At first, people were sympathetic. Friends and acquaintances rallied to his defense. But then his family members stepped in. They commented on his posts, exposing the real reason his parents cut ties with him: his lies, betrayal, and cruelty toward me. It didn't take long for his lies to backfire. Some of his coworkers and mutual friends saw the posts and the comments. They learned the truth, and their opinions of him shifted overnight. His coworkers stopped talking to him entirely, treating him like he didn't exist at work. His friends, many of whom had always liked me, were disgusted when they found out about the affair. Most of them were strongly against cheating and couldn't forgive him for how he treated me. Meanwhile, I was trying to pick up the pieces of my life. We had lived together, and now he needed to move out. But he couldn't afford rent on his own, and finding a new place was difficult because his budget was so tight. This added to the tension between us. I was still in the process of moving my things out of the apartment, and every encounter with him felt like walking into a storm. Then came the ultimate twist. They broke up. His boyfriend ended things after one of my ex's infamous tantrums. Apparently, my ex had a meltdown after his mom called to confront him about the situation. In his rage, he smashed our TV, destroyed my laptop, cut up some of the clothes I hadn't had a chance to pack, and even smashed the coffee machine. His boyfriend witnessed the outburst and decided he wanted nothing more to do with him. After hearing about the damage, I was livid. I immediately decided to sue him for destroying my belongings. But the mess didn't end there. I started getting private messages from people advising me to take extra precautions for my safety. Some suggested I file for a restraining order and move somewhere he couldn't find me. At first, I dismissed these warnings as overly dramatic. I assumed he wouldn't dare take things further. I was wrong. One day, while staying at my best friend's place, I made the mistake of letting my guard down. He followed me from her house to the grocery store parking lot. When I came back to my car, it was a disaster. All 4 tires were slashed, the windows were shattered, and the car was covered in what looked like oil. My heart sank as I took in the scene. This wasn't just petty vandalism, it was calculated malice. Luckily, the grocery store's parking lot had security cameras. The footage clearly showed him destroying my car, and the police identified him immediately. He was arrested that same day. Now, I'm not just suing him for the damages to my apartment belongings. I'm also filing for a restraining order and considering relocating to a different city for my own safety. Amid all this chaos, an unexpected ally emerged, his ex-boyfriend. To my surprise, he agreed to testify in court about my ex's behavior. He admitted to witnessing the destruction of my belongings at the apartment, which will strengthen my case significantly. Even so, facing my ex again in court feels daunting. But I know it's something I have to do to finally put this chapter behind me. On top of everything, my ex is now being evaluated by professionals. It seems that his violent outbursts and erratic behavior might stem from underlying mental health issues. His parents, despite their shock and disappointment, refused to have any further contact with him. This entire situation has been surreal, like a bad soap opera I can't escape from. And yet, I'm determined to find closure. The days leading up to the court hearing were tense. I was trying to focus on preparing for my case, but my ex's erratic behavior kept haunting me. The damage to my car and the destruction of my belongings left me feeling unsafe, even in familiar spaces. I was staying with my best friend, but I couldn't shake the fear that he might find a way to lash out again. When the court date arrived, I had a mix of anger and dread. Seeing him again wasn't something I looked forward to, but I was ready to hold him accountable. His appearance in the courtroom was jarring. He looked disheveled, tired, and defeated. Nothing like the confident man I'd once thought I knew. But even as he sat there, I could see flashes of defiance in his expression, like he still didn't grasp the gravity of what he had done. The testimony from his ex-boyfriend turned out to be pivotal. He described the violent outburst he had witnessed, detailing how my ex destroyed my things in a fit of rage. The footage from the grocery store parking lot also left no room for doubt. It was clear to everyone in that courtroom that his actions weren't impulsive. They were deliberate. When it was my turn to speak, I laid out everything: the years of lies, the betrayal, the manipulation, and the escalating aggression. I explained how his actions left me feeling unsafe in my own life and how they uprooted everything I'd worked so hard to build. It wasn't just about the money or the material possessions. It was about the emotional toll his deception had taken on me. By the end of my testimony, there wasn't a dry eye in the courtroom, except for his. The judge didn't hold back in their ruling. My ex was ordered to pay restitution for the damages to my car and belongings. The restraining order was granted, ensuring he couldn't come within 500 feet of me or contact me in any way. His behavior in court, hostile, unrepentant, and dismissive, only solidified the judge's decision. After the hearing, I finally felt a sense of relief. But it was bittersweet. Winning the case didn't erase the pain of betrayal or the fear I'd lived with for months. It didn't bring back the years I'd wasted in a relationship built on lies. But it did give me the closure I needed to start moving forward. As part of the ruling, my ex was also referred to mandatory counseling due to concerns about his mental health. The evaluation had uncovered signs of unresolved trauma and potential personality disorders. While I felt some pity for him, it didn't excuse his actions. He had chosen to hurt me, and now he was facing the consequences. In the weeks that followed, the fallout from his actions continued to unfold. His social circle had all but disappeared. His former friends, who had once welcomed me warmly, were disgusted by the truth about his double life and betrayal. His coworkers avoided him entirely, and rumors spread about why he was acting so erratically. He was now a shadow of the person he once pretended to be, and I couldn't bring myself to feel sorry for him. Meanwhile, I started piecing my life back together. I moved to a new apartment in a different city, far enough away that I didn't have to worry about running into him. I blocked him on every platform and made sure he had no way of knowing where I was. The restraining order was my safety net, but I wasn't going to rely on it alone. For the first time in months, I felt a glimmer of hope. I could go grocery shopping without looking over my shoulder. I could sit in my new living room, sipping coffee, without feeling the weight of betrayal crushing my chest. I wasn't completely healed, but I was finally free. Now, months after the storm has passed, I've started rebuilding my life. The weight of betrayal still lingers, but it doesn't control me anymore. Therapy has been a huge help in sorting through the anger, sadness, and confusion. I've learned to stop blaming myself for falling for someone who never truly loved me. His actions were his choice, and they reflect on him, not me. My restraining order remains in place, and I've taken extra precautions to protect myself. Moving to a new city was one of the best decisions I've made. It gave me a clean slate, far away from the chaos he brought into my life. Slowly, I'm finding joy in the little things again, exploring my new neighborhood, making new friends, and focusing on the future. As for him, the consequences of his actions have caught up to him. From what I've heard through mutual acquaintances, he's isolated and struggling to regain stability. It's not something I celebrate, but I also don't feel guilty. He made his choices, and now he's living with the fallout. If there's one thing this experience taught me, it's the importance of trusting your instincts and prioritizing your own well-being. People who genuinely care about you don't manipulate you or use you for their benefit. If you ever find yourself questioning whether someone values you, listen to that voice. It's rarely wrong. To anyone going through something similar, know that you're not alone. It's okay to feel hurt, angry, or betrayed. But it's also okay to let go and focus on your own happiness. You deserve that. If you found this story helpful or relatable, I'd appreciate your support. Follow my channel for more real-life stories and insights. Together, we can learn from life's challenges and come out stronger.